This was a man who really gave all to his community, to football, to Pan, a culture man, a sporting man, a real legend. And I mean, that's all you could do in the lifetime, you know. In the time you're given, is make your mark. And indeed, a mark he made. His name will live on via the grounds and via the activism and his, I would say, appreciation and love and push for culture, and especially Pan. And of course, it's time to, I would imagine, in the politics, but I think really his football and his community work will be what people will hold up for a long time. I mean, what a turnout, huh? People from all walks of life, all over, from far and wide. And did you know he is the grandfather of the full-blown team, the Good Spirits young men, the men who have one of the biggest songs in the carnival right now? Respectfully yours, yeah? Full-blown, the brothers? Yeah, that's a grandfather. So, you know, it's a legacy and a lineage that clearly continues to contribute and to give to Trinidad and Tobago. Look at turnout. That is funeral. My goodness. When you see a funeral, have people like that where there's not even sitting room. People have to stand to the back. That's when you recognize, yes, boy, this person made a mark. They've touched lives. And that's all you could do while you're here in the land of the living. That's right. Rest in peace to Eddie Hart. We are to the back page on this wet Wednesday morning. And two youngsters on the under-19 team blasting off with some centuries. And it's interesting because the young man name, and I saw Apple. I say, Apple? Apple and Francis? Well, yes. The young man name, one of the young men is Shamar Apple. And then there's another young man by the name of Tanez Francis. They scored contrasting centuries as West Indies under-19s readied themselves for the ICC Cricket World Cup with a devastating 229-run win over Japan. Have a cricket team? Is Japan now here? Well, I mean, oh gosh. Well, I would imagine. But let me tell you something about the Japanese. Huh? Just like in the football when they started off on the world stage, and they were almost like a punching bag, and people used to deal with Japan and Korea and these teams from Asia on the football side. I could only imagine as they're getting into cricket, be very mindful and be very careful, because they will have the facilities, they will have the mindset, the work ethic. And as much as we might treat with them in this kind of way in 2026, give them a couple of years now, and you'll see Japan. Wow, is Japan getting involved in cricket here yet? Wow. Listen, don't ever underestimate the Japanese. This is what I'm seeing here, correct? Because I read this morning, you know, and I'm seeing what, I don't know, Japan had a team. I mean, that is interesting. And that's nice. The game is spreading and growing. But nonetheless, the young men, Francis and Apple, and let's be real, truth be told, I don't know if you would have heard of anyone's last name being Apple. It's the first time. Anybody knows a Mr. Apple or Miss Apple? Anybody would have ever met an Apple? No, that's probably not a name that's popular here in Trinidad. I don't know. Probably, if you know a Mr. Apple or Mrs. Apple, please let me know. But nonetheless, youngsters. And what a name, huh? That's one to look forward. Well, two young men to look forward to in the future if they're able to stay in the mold and stay within the structure of the cricket. So, with that being said, let's head to the brief on this Wednesday morning. Geriatric Society hosts flu vaccination drive in Diego Martin. So everybody there, all smiles. Obviously now is flu season. And speaking about that, coming up later on, Dr. Nicole Ramlachan, she will treat with the seasonal flu and virus and just kind of give us some advice as to how to mitigate and to move around that. Because, you know, with all the foreigners coming in, the diaspora or friends from all over will be coming in for the carnival. There's usually a kind of uptick. Folks come in, they're whining, they're jamming people up in each other's face, sneezing, coughing, in your face. You're the fat waving rag. You know, you have to be mindful of the environment and the space. And yes, there is always this uptick. A matter of fact, I recall that same year with COVID, 2020, I got, want to tell you, I don't know if it was at the time, because we didn't know. It's only like after they would have had the lockdown and the whole, I mean, it was just a really dark moment in not only Trinidad and Tobago's history, but the world's history. But I remember coming out of that carnival with one of the dreadest, I mean, I was out for days. I couldn't function. The Wednesday I was out, the Thursday and Friday. I think I only said I catch myself like the Saturday. Weak, body mash-up, pain. Oh, when you get a post-carnival flu, for those who know, they know. It's not nice. It's not nice at all. So this vaccination drive, I think it's a good one, and it's just a chance for us to give ourselves a layer of protection. Also, some Paramin action. The Red Devil playing a mass at the junction there in DB. This is all part of the NCC's stick fighting competition. They're taking the stick fighting, taking that Gael all over the country and creating a nice little mood for all the different areas. So Moruga had their chance and DB had their chance also over the weekend, and they'll be heading somewhere soon. Yeah? We get ready to take that pause. Dr. Denise Soifat Angus, political leader of the IDA, will join me next, and later on we hear from the political leader for the unity of the people, Nkosi Phillips. We're treating with Tobago the elections and the aftermath, as it were. So we touch base with the IDA. They're stepping in right after the break. See you soon.
At Guardian General Insurance, we know your home is more than just a building. It's where your family feels safe and where memories are made. That's why we're here to protect not just your house, but the people and dreams inside it. We are your partner, working alongside you to provide the right protection, the right support, and the peace of mind you deserve. With Guardian General Insurance, you can live safe, live easy.
Presenting the most modern pharmaceutical facility in the country, Food Basket Hyperfarm Pharmacy Food Basket Complex, Arima. We stock the widest range of health and beauty products, baby supplies, stationery, fragrances, and cosmetics. Our organic, sugar, and gluten-free products cater to vegans and the health conscious. A wide assortment of dispensary medication and over-the-counter items at the most affordable prices. Make Hyperfarm Pharmacy your choice. Located on the compound of Food Basket Complex, Arima.
Just got your CXC or CAPE results? Then start your degree today at CTS College and choose from many of our pathways in business management, business administration, human resource management, marketing, finance, management information systems, computer engineering, computing and information systems. Full and partial scholarships are available. CTS College, where education is beyond academics.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance, but we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
This season, Ask the Doctor is at a new time. It's your weekly prescription for trusted medical advice. In the Doctor's Capsule, Dr. Tilak Singh breaks down big health topics clearly and simply. Get a dose of smiles in the Kiddies Capsule as our youngest experts share health tips with heart. Explore the science behind the headlines in Medical Minds, featuring real doctors, real insight, and your questions matter. Join the open forum live and get answers straight from the source. Ask the Doctor, every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Political leader of the IDA, Dr. Denise Soifat Angus, joins me to just, give some perspective on her experience, her personal experience, her experience with her candidates. They went up for 11 seats in the THA. Of course, the results are in and it's a blue wave, and I know there's lots to unpack. We look at the result there, TPP 15, PNM nil, IDA nil, and UTP nil. Firstly, let me thank you and say being part of the democratic process, Dr. Denise Soifat Angus, is of paramount importance, and you put your hat in the ring, you backed up your words with action, you went out there, you gave your effort. It was not to be, but indeed, I'm sure lots of lessons to be learned, and we want to, of course, tell you thanks for being part of the process, indeed.
Thank you for that, Jason. And also let me extend congratulations to the Tobago People's Party and Talia Bastin for their victory on Monday in the THA election. And further, I want to commend all of the candidates, especially the IDA candidates who stepped out with courage and commitment and made it to the end of the course. And I want to thank them and even all candidates who would have entered the electoral process. It is part of, creating democracy on the island and in the country. And we can't have it if people are not brave enough to step out. So we thank everyone.
When we look at the voter turnout, and I'm looking at the numbers, way less compared to 4 years ago. And of course, lower figures than 2021. And of course, not really getting over the line for the IDA in the 11 seats you would have contested. Is there a feeling of disappointment at all, Dr. Soifat Angus? What's your personal, where's your heart this morning?
No, you can't feel disappointed. I mean, we are not unestablished. We are still in our journey to establish ourselves in the minds and the hearts of the people. And in fact, talking with some of our candidates, we feel that we have grown on this journey, given the fact that I think IDA is now more of a household name rather than people asking who is IDA. They knew. And so we don't consider that this is any disappointment. It's part of the growth. And so we will continue with that. Growing a party is not an easy thing, especially now. And we are committed that Tobago should have a choice in any upcoming election of another Tobago-based party, just as the people are requesting.
So you're in for the long haul. You're in for the long haul. You're looking at the way ahead, long term.
Absolutely. You cannot truly, want to bring betterment for Tobago and you just fall up and go away just because, you didn't win an election. This is what commitment looks like. This is what the people are looking for, and they continue to test us. Are you going to fool up and go away just like some of the others who never won and they just folded up? So people want to see that you're committed and they're testing us, and we're letting them know that we are staying the course.
Let me ask, and we always have very frank and honest discussions, whether it's you in person or we chat on air. Do you feel, because we have seen a total rejection of PNM there in Tobago, and it's one that's been brewing for quite a while, and we know they would have had some leadership issues, and you were part of the PNM, you were part of that structure, you took yourself out of it, you created IDA, you continued with your particular passion and drive and vision for Tobago. You think there's any particular, in this new dispensation under the IDA, anybody's looking at your is questioning probably your association? Is there any remnants of that PNM factor that might still be undertone in your journey at this point in time in the early days?
Correct. Some people do question it. The TPP has used it as part of their campaigning, but I say to them now, who is more PNM with the number of people who have crossed the floor and gone into the administration of the TPP? I think they are the more credible PNM B team, like they like to suggest at this point, and they continue to carry the similar policies that the PNM would have carried, which is a top-down approach to governance. So if we're looking at persons who just left, I mean, A.N.R. Robinson left the PNM also, just like I did. So I don't think that should hold anything right now. I think what is important is the type of policies the party wishes to go with. And our policy, as different from the others, is the redesign of the governance structure to bring the people into the picture by having a bottom-up approach to governance rather than the top-down approach that the other two have practiced for generations. I'm
glad you touched on that word, governance. How do you plan to hold the administration to account, keep them on their heels when there is going to be literally no opposition in the THA? Correct.
Well, we will have our our shadow secretaries looking on and observing and gathering information. And wherever good is done, we will applaud them. But wherever we think they're going off course, we are definitely going to bring it to the fore with the people. Because, we have been in an economic crisis going into this election. And now we are in what we call a political crisis. Because whilst they would have won 15, they are what you would call the 30% government, like how we would have had the 28% government in 1971 with Eric Williams and the PNM. And so they have to accept and acknowledge that they are a governing body of 30% of the electorate that would have appointed them, and therefore, how do they ensure that the 70% are heard? The 70% of the electorate is heard, and that is going to be, a challenge that I really hope that they are able to overcome. Because we are for a tough ride over the next couple of years, given the economy, both in Tobago and in Trinidad, and therefore ensuring that we have the majority of voices being heard on the island is critical, and we will contribute to ensure that they are informed.
Understood. What was the mood of the election process, the cycle? We saw, obviously, a most unfortunate incident. Your party was not involved in that, thankfully, but generally the campaign trail, the kind of utterances that came out of the mouth of those on stage during the whole process. If you could recap it for us, what was the mood? Was it favorable, or it left much to be desired?
It left much to be desired. You know, campaigns in the past had a certain amount of finesse to them, you know, where people could smile. You know, you got the undertones of what meanings were, but it wasn't all just in your face, raw and abrasive. And that is what we're seeing now from both sides. And you know, it's quite unfortunate. I think perhaps that is what is also contributing to persons deciding just not to come out. And it says something that 50% pretty much said, I can't vote for either side right now. I'm just not going to waste my time to come out. And that says a lot. You know, what we also got on the campaign trail that kept coming up, which we saw played out, is the fact that people started saying, listen, and especially young people, it's time that we don't have a Trinidad-based party in Tobago. And they were referring to the PNM. And that is going to be a continued issue as they go along, because as we see now, you know, the young people are the ones who are really holding down the fort in terms of the election process. I think a lot of the seniors are giving up and saying, well, I had my time, it's now their time. But the electoral process is for everyone. It's not just for young people, it's also for seniors, because at the end of the day, there are policies to be done that would also impact on the senior citizens. So it is something that is out there, and we will see how it continues to play out.
Well, I mean, I think we have seen a clear political pivot in Tobago, because Chief Secretary Farley, he will continue in his role. He would have said via his victory speech on Monday that TPP, and I would even put IDA now in the conversation, UTP, all the parties out of Tobago, that is not in terms of, I mean, PNM, their headquarters is in Port of Spain. So indeed, I guess the argument is indeed a correct one, where Tobago is more looking towards an indigenous party structure where the party is born, raised, it resides in Tobago, I would imagine. So you think this is a political pivot? You think this is a most interesting moment in the political process of the THA and Tobago's push towards autonomy?
It is, and it is. And it is how the TPP uses that to really favor the people of Tobago. They have been accused of, whilst they, you know, promote themselves as a Tobago party, that Tobagonians have been left behind in the process of procurement and different areas, land distribution, all of that. So it's how they position themselves, knowing that the people are giving them a mandate because they believe that they are a Tobago party. And PNM has some introspection to do with the fact that people want to move on from a Trinidad-based party. And just saying that they have an arm in Tobago, I don't think is something people are wanting to consider any longer. Tobago wants something of their own, parties of their own, and this is part of the growing up and the ownership and the quest for autonomy that we want. And so it's something that everyone has to consider, even the electorate. Because at the end of the day, whilst you want a Tobago party in the House, having all 15 is going to be a challenge because there's no democracy, there's no oversight mechanism in the House, and therefore Tobagonians will have to consider that the next time around in their voting pattern.
In the seconds that remain, Dr. Soifat Angus, what do you want to say to the 181 who gave the IDA their support in this last THA election? Just a chance for you to talk directly to all those who give you that support.
Well, I would like to thank those persons who continue to build with us and say thank you for your courage to go out and vote for us. Thank you for your belief in what we said we wanted to do in terms of the Tobago space. And in fact, there are a lot more persons who said, we like what you're talking about. Make sure you stick around for the next 4 years because we have our eyes on you. Because we like what your policies, what you're sharing in your policies. However, we are trying to get rid of the PNM. We want them to get that message. So we want to thank everyone and say, we are staying around. You have asked us to stay around, and we are going to continue being here, championing the cause. I'm
going to be happy you're around because I really enjoy our conversation. So I look forward in the next 4 years, once we have life, health, and strength, for more engaging discourse. And again, all the best. Thank you. And thank you for having me this morning. You're most welcome. That's Dr. Denise Soifat Angus, political leader of the IDA. We take the break and we come back with the political leader of the Unity of the People, Nkosi Phillips, to hear their particular experience in the just concluded THA elections. See you soon.
The countdown has started for the biggest raffle ever in Trinidad and Tobago on behalf of Queens Royal College, valued at just under $1 million for 3 brand new vehicles. First prize is a luxurious Ford Ranger. Draw date is Saturday, January 24th at the college. Tickets only $100.
Final purchase date for physical tickets is this coming Monday, January 19th.
No further extensions. You hear? Some ticket outlets include True Value, Reliable Appliances, Christina Shoe Store, Kenny Sports, Unique Bookstore, Extra Foods, JTA Supermarkets, Police Credit Union, ABC Home Center, The Trinity Shop, PRW Enterprises, Charon Bookstores, Starlight Drugs, Ishmael Khan & Sons, Shamir Spas, Modern Electrical, Bagans Drugs, Steven Sons Fashions, Bagalito Enterprises, Solera, also Crosby St. James, Atalee's Mother Park, Cinnamon Drugs Sangre Grande, Bellini Drugs San Fernando, IslandEtickets.com.
Get your tickets now.
For more info, call the college at 622-1671 or the hotline at 491-1802.
This is John. John has just opened a new restaurant and is already questioning his life choices. Observe his eyes. He's trying the open wide to stay awake technique. John worries about many things like that overpriced stove, but there's one thing John doesn't stress about: his investments. First Line Securities, helping Trinidad and Tobago invest for almost 2 decades. Invest with us.
A mortgage is what helps you turn your dream of owning a home into reality. First Citizens helps you plan for every other cost, such as insurance, maintenance, and utilities. Mortgages build equity, offer long-term investment, and give you freedom to make the space yours. First Citizens is here to help you understand your first steps to a mortgage. First Citizens.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
The Trinidad and Tobago Energy Conference and Trade Show 2026 takes place on Monday, January 26th. Tune in to CNC3 for a live broadcast starting in the morning brew from 6 a.m., followed by the opening ceremony at 9 a.m. The conference will feature addresses by Mala Baliraj, Ariel Flores, Yarand Reistad, Dustin Meyer, Dr. Boyega Ayeni, and many others. The Trinidad and Tobago Energy Conference 2026, only on CNC3.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Each day I ask myself, how can our country be better than it was yesterday? We all hope for a better society, but not many understand the power of their influence to change the world around them. A small act of kindness holds as much power as a camera, a mic, or even a seat in the parliament when it comes to achieving societal development. I understand that my purpose extends beyond being a mere observer. I am an active participant in shaping the world around me. From the stories I write to the newscast I produce, it is my hope that everyone is heard and understood. We are where you are.
Nkosi Phillips joins me on the Zoom line this morning, political leader, Unity of the People. Nkosi would have contested the Buku Mount Pleasant seat. That's where you reside. And, yet again, you've put yourself out there, put your hat in the political ring. You're part of the democratic process. That is the THA elections. And, as just like I told Dr. Denise Soifat Angus a couple of minutes ago, we want to thank everyone for being a participant in what's a very important process. Nkosi, great to see you. Good morning.
Pleasant good morning to you, Mr. W, and Tobago and Trinidad by extension. Good morning.
Well, remember the last time we spoke, I was telling you that, you really have lots of heart. You would have put yourself back in the mix. It was not to be this time around. What's your take? The dust is now settled. We're getting into our post-mortem conversation. Was there any personal disappointment? How you felt on the night when the results were coming in?
I was very happy. I had a blast. I enjoyed this election. This election process for me was one of the most comforting elections. One, my cyberbullies took a step back, and I had a clean, comfortable, clear mind till the election. There were some foolish people at times, but it wasn't as much as before. The EBC process was very, very easy and efficient. And at the end of the day, at the end of the time, what I was seeing, based on what I was seeing, money's passing, people getting paid, the bribe and all the promises and everything, I already put in my mind that, okay, good, I'm going to have a wonderful vacation going forward for the next 4 to 5 years to ease my mind, ease my voice. I don't use my brain cells to educate people who are politically illiterate. I just want to a party and a governance about themselves and what they can get. So for me, the night of the election, I was very, very comfortable and very nice, and I had a wonderful night at the beach. So it was good for me.
So you said what, you're going to take a vacation? So you're going to pull yourself out of the political hustings?
No, Unity of the People will continue to work this. We took the first 5 years, and the first 5 years to look at the kind of people we were dealing with, look at the type of elections, how much money you need to spend. We were evaluating and taking notes of what it means to be in the political arena going forward. So the first 5 for us was actually to look, observe, take notes, and then pattern our projection going forward for the next 5 years and the next future 10 years going forward. Unity of the People, as a political leader, we also have an internal election coming up. We also have to build the party going forward. So we have a lot of work to do. Now, when I say take a vacation, The people of Tobago have spoken, and I've always said I will respect the views, I respect the choice that the Tobagoans has given. Now, they have to also reciprocate, or I have to reciprocate by also respecting and doing what I'm comfortable with. So my brain cells and my work and my words will now be given to the international arena, and I'll be working a lot outside of the Trinidad and Tobago space, outside in the international arena, working on policies for their countries, helping build their youth development programs and stuff. So I will be traveling a lot, working outside. So this for me was kind of an ease. So I'll be accepting and appreciating, because as when the election was done, I received calls from some presidents, some ambassadors, some high dignitaries, congratulating me and looking forward to working with me now in the international arena out there. So, as I said, unity of the people will always be there. I know it's going to be a process where it's only one-sided governments. Nobody can hold the THA administration to account because they got what they want, and they don't have to account to anybody, because it's not like they're going to say, unquote, on TV, yes, they're going to account to the people. But if they couldn't account to Kelvin Morris, the minority leader who was speaking for the people, it's obviously that they're going to account, they're going to do what they want. So at the end of the day, let the people who elected them into office hold them to account.
Yeah, well,
and let me get to rest my brain cells and enjoy the rest of my vacation.
Yeah, well, I know you do lots of work there with the UN, and indeed you are an advocate for equality, for inclusion. And in that regard, because I know you would have mentioned the cyberbullying part of it, and I've never asked you, I've never had this discussion with you on air, but do you think that there are folks in Tobago, because you received 8 votes and you always put forward your particular policy, we could tell there is lots of passion, lots of drive. You have done work in the community where you live there, the Mount Pleasant, Buku area. Do you think that there is, or at least a cross-section of folks in Tobago who take issue with your lifestyle, the way the way you go about your life and stuff? You think there are people who still can't wrap their mind around that, and that's why you're seeing this kind of small turnout in terms of 8 votes? Because we never really had that discussion, and I say, we always have honest and frank, open discussions.
Of course, and I'm glad to answer that. Let me tell you something. We are dealing with a bunch of hypocrites across here, because at the end of the day, what you don't see in the day, you see in the dark. And when they're looking at me, you have persons in an administration who in the closet, who they know in the closet, who they're supported, who's supposed to be church-going people, and in the closet. And as I said, it's a bunch of hypocrites. And if I was supposed to drop bombs, the whole of Tobago will shut down. So when they continue to say it's my lifestyle and put my lifestyle as an issue, we have to look at the persons who have been arrested and charged for molesting children. When you look at the level of incest it has in Tobago, it's a Jerry Springer show. So if they're using that, quote unquote, my lifestyle, well, I don't know. Sorry, God just don't have a design for people like that. And I'm saying this to say, when you look at my work and my words, it is overwhelming to the issue that they're thinking is my lifestyle. At the end of the day, who do you trust? Somebody who's open about themselves, or somebody who's leading a charge, who is in the closet and has a lot of questions over their sexuality? For honesty, as I said to everybody, they will continue to use this as a tool going forward, because that is a campaign trail remarks. And when you look at the level of work that I've done, the level of things that I've done for this community and also Trinidad and Tobago by extension, it cannot match the level of unsatisfactory work this TBQ administration has done, the assemblymen who have come, with me giving 6,000 hampers, 14,000 hampers, 20,000 hampers year after year, doing school book back to drive, hamper laptop distributions, house rebuilding programs, the programs that I've done, the things that I've done internationally. When I look at this whole election, I'm literally the only sane politician it has in Trinidad and Tobago, because I think about the people, I think about my humanity of caring and going way beyond. And as I said, if they continue to look at a lifestyle, you have to shut down the whole of Tobago. because there are persons in the closet, there are persons in this TQP administration who plant flag with LGBTQ in the hospital. And these people are under them. Why? Because it's about what they can get for themselves. When you look at the TQP administration, it's the whole LGBTQ community with them. So at the end of the day, I speak for myself and I respect who I am. I accept who I am, and I will continue being here. And if the international arena accepts me and respects me for my work, my worth, and what I can do to help build their nation, that is where my spirit and my power is going to be. Giving my work, because I'm not going to die with all this education and die with all these intense projects and policies. If Trinidad and Tobago, especially Tobagoans, want to sit back and take the nonsense that is given to them, fine by me, kudos, I wish you all the best. But I know I am going to be reciprocating, because when you need help or assistance, you now have an elected assembly that you want and an elected area representative, call them. It's no longer going to be, oh, going to see something going on the beach. You see what's going on in Bukun. No, it's not going to be like that. Yeah. I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to actually have an enjoyable 4 to 5 years. Where there's issues that I have to speak out, where there's issues and concerns for Tobago and Trinidad by extension, as a political leader, as long as I'm holding the space in unity of the people, I will continue to raise issues and concerns about those issues that is being brought before me. But otherwise, my lifestyle shouldn't be an issue to anybody, because at the end of the day, what I don't see close and I see far.
Well, as always, you know, you speak your truth, you speak with passion, Nkosi, and I thank you there for the commentary. I want to ask you, are you taken aback as to the very low voter turnout? It's actually less this time around compared to 4 years ago.
Yeah, yes, I am. And it shows that the credibility of the elections, it's dying. Persons, persona, but then again, there are people, even though low voter turnout is, there are options. There are other persons are still stuck in the party politics. As I've said to Tobagonians, they will feel it, because they are stuck on party politics, creating history for our party. It's all about history. It's not about the development of the people. It's not about taking Tobago forward. It's not about achieving a goal. When you see the amount of money that has been passed for this election, and the amount of promises and the amount of people who get in their pockets, it's not about the democracy of Trinidad and Tobago and standing and making Tobago become the kind of the place and the green, safe, and serene that the people out on the international waters. Let me tell you something. We have issues that we need to address. We have an issue with the radar. We have an issue where Kamala Pasabis has dug a wedge with CARICOM. And how does it affect Tobago? It affects Tobago greatly. We have an issue where Trinidad and Tobago is in the spotlight that is not good to Tobago especially. And the flights are coming here. Tourism is dead. Agriculture is dead. So at the end of the day, the people who didn't vote, you don't have a voice. And when they come and say, oh, I didn't vote because of this, I don't want to hear them, because you had an opportunity to be a part of the democratic process, to make changes, to enhance. You had options. And Unity of the People is never an alternate party, it's never a third party, it's an option where you had a choice. So for me, the lack of the turnout shows that no, there was no improvement in anybody's party, because when you look at the results there, the same 16,000 is what PDP would have gotten, that actually Valley gotten and the TQP gotten. So it doesn't make a really big difference. So as I said, it's now left to the people of Tobago, those who, because in this kind of governance, this governance is very unhealthy, seeing that you don't have an opposition. Somebody say, oh, go on, because they're going to call you and put you as the opposition to torture you. If they do that, trust me, there will be no torture. There'll be hell on earth, because trust me, I'm one person. I'm not going to be like Kevin Morris. I'm going to dead them very hard, because I'm going to bring real issues. I'm going to make sure and hold them account. And otherwise than that, let them run the governance of the island and let the people hold them to account. But otherwise, it now needs to be improved. And as I said, as political parties, we need to be inhumane. We need to be down to the ground. And there are too many fake people in politics. Everybody wants to get into politics to be rich off the people. They're saying that they're making promises and not doing it. And that's not what I'm about. And that's why I said I'm the only sane politician it has. Because when you look at the work that I put out, compared to those who go in there and don't do anything, it's left to be seen again.
Nkosi, as we wrap things up this morning, what do you want to say to the 8 who came out to give you that support in the just concluded THA elections? I want to talk directly to your supporters.
Well, thank you very much for the 8 supporters that I've gotten, and also I've got to thank you to the supporters that I've gotten on social media with their voices. But I know the 8 persons who would have voted for me, I will be taking care of you for the next 4 to 5 years, because I'm going to put things in place to make sure that they are well taken care of with food stuff. They're well taken care of with issues that they have that needs to be dealt with. I will be working on them, but I'm not going to be so selfish. I'm also going to be focused on the special needs persons in our community of Trinidad and Tobago directly, because I've got a lot of resources that I haven't used. Because for the elections, I've kept all the resources to make sure that after an election, I'm able to continue on with the program. So the 8 people, the persons in Trinidad and Tobago who literally would have reached out to give the support and say, you know, if they could have voted, I want to thank you all so much. I also want to thank the people of Trinidad and Tobago on a whole for continuing to be beside me and continue to push me and continue to give me the encouragement. So WJW, I want to thank you as well. I want to thank the media for giving me this little bit of courage to continue to, you know, bring real issues and to be real on the TV. I want to thank you all so much, and please do look forward to great things from me. The next thing that I have to do is the CSW at the United Nations, and I also have to go to Sierra Leone and South Africa to do some partnership works to my NGO and also for Unity of the People. So do look forward for great things, and I will be continuing to represent to the best of my ability with whatever little resources that I have.
Nkosi, as always, sincere thanks for being here. We'll keep in touch and, you know, keep putting in your work and putting yourself in place to represent your home, Tobago, and your community. Buku, Mount Pleasant. All the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful morning. Thank you.
Same to you. That's, of course, Nkosi Phillips there, political leader, Unity of the People. We also heard from Dr. Denise Soifat Angus. So let me give you the breakdown. Out of 239 voters across Tobago who were able to step forward, they were in place. Obviously, not everyone, clearly not everyone went out. A lot actually stayed away. But for those who went out, the vote tally, the final tally, it goes like this. The Tobago People's Party, 16,240 votes. People's National Movement, 10,456 votes. The IDA, 181. And Nkosi, who we just spoke to, Unity of the People, 8 votes for the 1 seat contested, the Buku Mount Pleasant. So that's the Tobago rundown there. That's how things went. It's the Blue Wave. We'll hopefully get a chance to touch base with the TPP and hopefully the Chief Secretary. It's been 4 years since he last appeared on the program. So hopefully, if not before the end of the week, I'm keeping fingers and toes crossed, probably by early next week we'll get a chance to check in with the Chief Secretary. With that, we take the pause. Get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. See you soon.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2 Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. Big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop 2021 Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasant Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Good morning, I'm Doris Polo with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Election and boundaries preliminary data show that only half of Tobagonians eligible to vote exercised that franchise. Yesterday, the EBC announced that 50.69% of Tobagonians voted in Monday's polls. The preliminary figures from the EBC show more than 53,000 voters were registered across the island, with just under 27,000 valid ballots cast. That turnout is down from the December 2021 election, when nearly 57% of voters went to the polls. Based on the preliminary count, the Tobago People's Party swept all 15 electoral districts, securing over 16,000 votes. The People's National Movement recorded just over 10,000, with minor support for the IDA and UTP. However, the PNM requested recounts in 2 districts. In his first address to Tobagonians following what was dubbed a blue wash of Tobago, political leader of the Tobago People's Party, Fali Augustine, pledged to work for all, regardless of political affiliation. The first order of business, their major campaign promise.
Tobago requires greater autonomy at this time, and that means that all people from all political parties, all villages, must get involved in building out what that platform will look like.
Political leader of the People's National Movement, Penelope Beckles, has expressed disappointment over the party's crushing defeat in Tobago, a result that led to the resignation of Tobago Council leader Ansel Dennis. Beckles says the loss comes as the PNM marks its 70th anniversary this month, noting the party's long history of both victories and setbacks. She says the outcome makes it necessary for the party to conduct a post-mortem to assess what went wrong and to determine its way forward in Tobago. While wishing both Dennis and Chief Secretary-elect Fali Augustine well, Beckles says she has no plans to request that independent individuals be sworn in to serve as opposition figures.
I just want to remind you that we were there at 12-0, yes? So that we respect that there is an existing constitution, there is an existing arrangement that allows for that. But it does not mean that there are not mechanisms where you can ensure that there are checks and balances.
Those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2. It's still very much rather wet Wednesday here in Port of Spain. You could probably, when we open the lines, which is going to happen right now, give me a little update as to how things looking on your side, your neck of the woods, as they say. 624-8721, 627-8658. We have someone on the line. Good morning. Welcome.
Good day, Jason.
Hey, Shagonas. Good morning. Welcome.
Pleasant good day. All right, Jason, here's what I understand with all the increase in the fines and everything like that, that it may be a bit burdensome on the people, right? But I'll tell you this, right? in getting a ticket, you have the option of contesting the ticket also. You don't have to pay it. It's not written in stone that you have to pay the ticket, right? And what I would like to say is that the government should try their best, even within years going forward. If you could fix about, let's say, 10 roads every year, I just say, so 10 by 5, like 50 roads fixed for 5 years, right? That, you see, we need to stop saying that is the vehicles roadworthy. The question is, are the roads vehicle worthy? Understand what I'm saying? Because are the roads vehicle worthy? Because there are some taxis all over the country. They don't go in certain areas, and you can't blame the taxi drivers for that, because really and truly, when they go along in a pothole, they shocks, they this, they that, whatever the case is, and the little $6-7 where they getting paid by the person, that thing amounted to that. So I mean, we need to look at these things too. And now I'm listening to Penelope, because what she would have said concerning the disappointment and everything. But it's not disappointment, Jason. Let me tell you something. It's expectation. You see, if it is that you would have done a great job and you lost, you could tell yourself, but I'm disappointed. But you would have done nothing for the people. And as a result of that, you will have to expect that. You can't be disappointed about that. And that is exactly what I was saying yesterday. They're so out of touch with what is going on the ground with the people. You see, because they believe that because they're there since the days of Zorro, right, that they could just exist. And that the people will just vote for them. But no, people have wisen up now. And I am thankful to say that the black people in Tobago has wisen up and has come forward for something better now. You see, let me tell you something, Jason. They need to do better for the people. They need to become more of a viable option for the people. They thought that they were the only option, so they could just rock back now. Just let the car roll. Don't step on the gas. Just let the car roll, because everything is everything. But you see, they're seeing now that is not the case. And I am so disappointed. I listened to TV6 News last night. I'm so disappointed in this woman, Celestine. She is saying that she doesn't expect Fali Agustin, and she doesn't expect this one and that for the TPP, that no progress to be done relevant to the development of Tobago. And even if anything is done in development of Tobago, her exact words were that it could be a watered down development. Come on now, you see how misery love company? They ain't doing nothing good for the people. We're coming out of bad talk, any sort of chances that the people have relevant to progress. Just let me tell you something. We are our own worst enemy as people, right? And the minute we start to think outside the box, we will see better results.
Yeah.
You have a good day, Jason.
Yeah, all the best. It's a change in political tide, for sure. We could all see it, with the elections last year on the 28th in Trinidad, and clearly a couple of days ago in Tobago. Just want to remind Mr. Chagonas, he always mentions the black people and the black people and stuff. Unless you are from Europe, or probably Asia or somewhere, partner, we, Mr. Chagonas, including yourself, we are all black people. You're not white. You're not Asian. When you step on a plane and you go out there, we are all reminded as to where we are. And I don't really like the reference. So if we could allow that black people argument going forward, we could probably say Trinbagonians. Yeah, let's treat it on a level. Because I think there are a lot of people always use that particular reference and they try to exclude themselves from that quote-unquote black conversation. But if you look at it from a real-life perspective, my brethren cover East Indian descent, right? From down Erin, darker than me, dark, Madras. So what? Kavana black? I mean, come on. So let's remind ourselves that how we treat with the language must be favorable and respectful. Good morning. Who's out there?
Hey, JW.
What's up, my partner?
Hey, good brother. Hope all is well with you and the team.
Yes. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Well, speaking with the current issue in terms of the voting of Tobago, it really seems as though persons, didn't really vote for politics this wrong. They really, wanted change and development. So it seems as though that is what they wanted, and we could only hope as Trinidadians that Tobago gets the type of opportunities and development that they really want, and wish them all the best.
I feel also Tobago went for a kind of I feel Tobago is moving towards an indigenous kind of representation We're seeing it coming out of when PDP was able to make the inroad, and PDP, TPP came out of the PDP. You have IDA, you have, so I think in that Tobago's, they've kind of made a pivot towards a more Tobago-based, Tobago-esque political framework, as it were.
Okay. Well, I was not going to say, as soon as I come off the phone, I had to double check and see what the meaning of indigenous means, because it's a while, but I guess
like homegrown, homegrown, localized, a wee boy, a wee girl kind of vibes, like you had to be from Tobago to get in.
Which is understandable, because especially being a smaller island, an island that's still developing, you would better appreciate somebody who born and grew, as you say, from the island, so they could better understand the essence of person. So, but we still need to at some point see how we could repair the relationship. That might take some time, So it's all the best, and they might be better poised to develop their tourism and agriculture sectors, which we could probably learn a little bit from them as they develop. So all the best to Trinidad and Tobago, and we look forward to development in both Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. As mentioned actually by Mr. Shogunas, obviously, you're seeing a changing in the tide, and the electorate, they're letting their voice, they're speaking with their vote, and it's for all those entities, especially the established entities, to take note and to take stock as to the political reality and the moment. Let's head to Grandy. Good morning, Grandy.
Yes, and a pleasant good morning to you, JW.
Welcome.
At the CNC3 Trinidad and Tobago.
Welcome.
Now, yes, and I was listening to Mr. Duke on another channel last night on an interview. So he was telling the interviewer that they wanted to get rid of the PNM from Tobago. And apparently they did that, right? And I congratulated them. Yes. But up to now, if I were a Tobagonian, I would have want to ask them, what is your plans in introducing self-governance for Tobago, because we are not seeing anything about that, right? I mean, Trinidad and Tobago have our oil reserves and so on, and we work with that, right, for independence and so on. But what are they doing to sustain Tobago to be on their own? Because apparently they want to be on their own, because 4 years ago, here's what Mr. Fali told the Newsday, right? They said House of Assembly, right, Chief Secretary Fali Augustine told the Newsday on Wednesday that the THA was involved in talks to lease a building in Port of Spain to serve as an embassy, right? So I didn't see that coming to play. If I was at the beginning, I would ask them, where is this embassy? You understand?
Yeah. It's one of those.
And what I really, a question I want to ask you, JW. I would like to know that our Prime Minister, the Honorable, right? She said that. No, a British Prime Minister said that you cannot, it's impossible to tax a nation into prosperity. It's like a man standing in a bucket, right, and trying to pull himself up by the handle of the bucket, right? She, in her it is circulating all over social media, these videos and so on our last campaign and so on. And she said the next UNC government will, they have plans to counteract that. And their plan is they will lower the taxes, right? So I would like to ask Mr. Shogun, and probably Mr. Shogun know, who is the British Prime Minister that said that, right? Because apparently she is not following the same thing that she brought to the nation and telling the nation about this British Prime Minister that gave those information. She's going contrary to it, right?
Grandy.
So, right, I would like you to answer that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I feel what happens with a lot of politicians and administrations and folks who will be on the campaign trail is one thing when you're there campaigning and you want to get in. And when you get in and you probably see the books, you have to sometimes pivot and make adjustments. I don't know. I just wondering like how we see such a change of policy and tone as opposed to, well, when you're running for it and as opposed to when you get in. Let's take one more now. Faisal, good morning.
Listen, brother, morning.
Morning, Faisal.
This morning.
Good morning.
Shagwana, you see that black insinuation, my brother?
Yeah, we have to put it down. You know, my thing is best you say, if you want to be specific, probably best you say African.
Man. Say Tobagonians, Jason.
Yeah, because I just find
you know, and yesterday morning when I heard the lady said she would never go back to Tobago, why is all this hate, Jason, for a political party and not loving your country?
Well, honestly, I feel, and that's why I told Miss Digo, when she calls, probably we could elaborate. I feel, well, outside of the political beating, and I guess that will hurt folks, you know, who looked at that result. I feel it's a service issue. I feel it could be probably on a more personal level because there are lots of people who, unfortunately, Tobago, for some reason, for some people, Tobago rubs some people the wrong way because they find, well, you know, there's this underlying energy and thread that Tobagonians don't like Trini don't like Tobagonians, which I find is such utter nonsense, huh?
Exactly, Jason. And no, I could have, I mean, I and you are pretty much experienced, and I could have heard the bitterness.
Yeah.
See, she didn't extend to the back pay, so it was something that was transferable along.
Okay. Understood.
Because I remember clearly, she mentioned the back pay. Yes, I want my back pay. Now, Jason, you know, the government would have instituted certain measures when they got into office, what they would have seen. I am certain if they had the money at hand to make life much easier as people would have expected, they would have done that. Clearly, they have to take measures to bring the economy in line. It might be a little hard, it might be difficult. Hopefully, we'll get through this together. But more importantly, if we look at it, 80% of Trinidad and Tobago rejected the PNM. That's what we're supposed to be looking at and try to find out why it is we're not having a vibrant opposition party, Jason. You follow what I'm saying?
Follow what you're saying, yeah.
But you know, we need to have, and you know, I'm not hearing penny. You know, you're hearing about it, nothing of substance. Nothing of substance. You know, Dr. Rowley would have helped.
You feel there needs to be a little more sting, a little more oomph, you feel?
Exactly. Excitement, brother. Excitement. And what I'm saying to you is Dr. Rowley would have successfully dismantled the PNM systematically. With this Teotiong issue and a number of issues. I want you to go through it a fine-tooth comb, being a former member and a candidate, and you will understand what I'm saying. Thank you, my brother. I hope they get through this, and the IBA would now have a chance in Tobago, which I think is an option. If programmed properly, might have a chance.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Faisal. Very, very solid commentary indeed. And yes, I mean, many within the PNM will confess, whether it be openly or privately, that this is a moment for major self-reflection. And I think one of their major issues, and it's been one that's plagued them for decades, is that when they're in power, they do not treat and take care of their own. They leave their own to suffer. I remember in my particular time when I was campaigning, people who would have been stalwarts, you know, who walk with this one and they walk and the whole flag and they were street soldiers. I saw the squalor some of these folks were living in. You know, real unfortunate circumstance and dwelling places. And my heart was broken, and I'm saying, how I can be part of a process, part of an organization for all these years. Foot soldier on the ground. And it's nothing by. Yeah, so I think this is a wake-up call, a major wake-up call, not only for PNM, but for all political entities. The game changed. And people, especially with social media at their access and everyone having a voice, they're not taking that kind of mama guy anymore. And I guess a party that can go in and treat with everyone, even though they might get in via one, a political party is a vehicle and they might get in via their supporters. If they could truly treat with everybody in a equitable and loving way, well, hey, they will rule forever. But unfortunately, that's not the nature of the politics. So it's almost like, well, somebody will go in, whoever go in, they will treat with their people and stuff. But PNM themselves will have to do some serious reflection coming out of this. It's 15 nil, this was a statement there in Tobago. And I would imagine local around the corner. That's carded, I believe, for next year. And then we ready ourselves in 4 years' time for another general election. And, I want to go back to something Shogunas would have said, which I didn't think about it until he said it, but it's actually a very solid point. I'll end on this before we take the break. You could get the ticket, but it's true. You can contest it. So it doesn't mean that it's all doom and gloom. If you think you're in the right, especially with the wrecking scenario, there's a new bulletin out, and it's in the Guardian. I'll tell you what page before I head to the break, where you could literally contest. Well, at least the TTPS would have given some clarity in terms of the wrecking policy. If the driver appears, they're obligated to take down the car. So, it's not all doom and gloom. We have rights. It don't make no sense to cuss and carry on with police and licensing officers. I mean, if you're in the wrong, you're in the wrong. But if for some reason you feel there's an injustice, you feel like they didn't treat with you correct, you figure, well, they took it too far, Shogunas make a good point. You could go to court and contest it. And sometimes when you go to court, because the system is so upside down, sometimes the same officer don't even appear and they throw out the case. There are many people who get the case thrown out, but people feel they got ticket. Oh my gosh, and you go up in arms. Yeah, thanks for reminding us of that, Mr. Shogunas, the fact that you can contest your ticket in a court of law once you figure you have a case. If you don't have a case, well, I would suggest you go pay your ticket and get it over with. But if you have a case, contest it, by all means. Let's take the pause. We come back. It's the seasonal flu and virus time. People all in effects, people all on your face, right? So we need to give ourselves that layer of protection. Dr. Nicole Ramlachan joins me to tell us how. See you soon.
Ready for the grand opening of Calypso Review 2026 at the Arima Velodrome on Friday, January 23rd from 8 p.m. with Sugar Aloes along with the review stars Pink Panther, Skatey, Devon Seal, Singing Sonia, Michelle Henry, Mighty Diamond, Saint Nick, Nicole Grace, Maze, JD, Fire Tender, Sasha and Moses, Tempo, Black Prince, Nisa, Alana Sinette, Lakaman, Orlando Octave from Barbados, Mighty Gabby, your MCs, Marcus Batiste, Tommy Joseph, and the chairman. Admission $150. Tickets for Arima at Michelle's Fashions, Massey Stores Broadway Arima, and at the door till showtime. Then on Saturday, January 24th, it's the grand opening of the review tent at the SWWTU Hall, right around Port of Spain. Showtime 8 p.m. Admission $200. Tickets for the Port of Spain show at the review box office, SWWTU Hall.
Welcome to Food Basket's Hyperactive Fitness Club in Arima, where achieving your goals is our #1 priority.
Hyperactive Fitness, baby, that's the place to go.
The Trinidad and Tobago Energy Conference and Trade Show 2026 takes place on Monday, January 26th. Tune in to CNC3 for a live broadcast starting in the morning brew from 6 a.m., followed by the opening ceremony at 9 a.m. The conference will feature addresses by Mala Baliraj, Ariel Flores, Yarand Reistad, Dustin Meyer, Dr. Boyega Ayeni, and many others. The Trinidad and Tobago Energy Conference 2026, only on CNC3.
As parents and teachers, we came together to establish the National Council of Parent-Teacher Association because we firmly believe that there is greater strength in unity. Today, our schools face real challenges: bullying, violence, and fear. No parent should send a child to school and wonder if they will be safe. No teacher should walk into a classroom afraid of losing control. That's why we welcome the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service into our schools. They bring expertise, they bring skill, and most importantly, they bring the reassurance that learning can happen in peace. We believe in unity. Now we are stronger. We are on board with the police.
The School-Oriented Policing Initiative, securing our schools, securing our future.
Dr. Nicole Ramlachan joins me on the Zoom line this morning, geneticist, biotechnologist, and I could safely say much loved contributor to the program. You know, we've been having our conversations for many years, and I'm so happy that you're back in a timely manner to just give us that reminder going into this carnival season, this jump up and wave happy season, to give ourselves that layer of protection, because obviously with the diaspora and all the foreigners coming from far and wide, you know, the thing going on, you know, people whining, talking in your face. We talk about it all the time, and we need to give ourselves a working plan going into the season, and I would say even beyond. Great to see you, Doc. Happy New Year and welcome.
Yeah, Happy New Year to everyone. So glad to be here. I'm glad to bring, you know, of course, the news of the flu vaccine, of course, as usual. You know, we start to make our soca for the, you know, if you want to joke, take the chuck, remember that?
Yes, yes, if you want to joke, take the chuck. Listen, next year we're recording it, huh? Please, come on, we talk about it every year. Let me ask you though, the empirical data really shows an uptick. Is there a real spike in flu around this time?
What's been happening is we could tell from the southern hemisphere, right? That's usually what we go on, because remember their winter period or their flu season is 4 or 5 months before ours, right? So theirs is more in our late summer. And what they've done is they've created these vaccines, which are trivalent or quadrivalent, different companies around the world, some of which are available here. I think we have the GC Biopharma available in health centers and so on. And they will have a mix of 3 or 4 different variants. And what has happened is, since the southern hemisphere peak, they thought what they thought was circulating, and the vaccines that they were pushing turned out to be what we call a drift, antigenic drift. Now, we talk about antigenicity in viruses all the time when we spoke about COVID and when we spoke about RSV and all of these different ones. But flu and influenza is the most antigenic virus. What does that mean? That means it has 2 proteins that stick out on the surface of the viruses, H and N, hemagglutinin and neuraminase, and they change all the time. So that's how come we have avian flu, swine flu, bird flu, all of these different types of flus, because these proteins change in order to be able to infect different hosts. And when those become very, very adapted to coming into the human host, then we have a pandemic or a new epidemic and those kinds of things. Because we don't see that we haven't seen that before.
Doc, why is the flu getting so severe over the years? Because, I mean, many could testify to, you know, you get the runny nose, a little cough back in the day, but now it's literally taking some people down, as in your body hurting, it's belly cramp.
It always has, you know. You have to remember, think about all the pandemics we've had. We've had avian flu pandemic, we've had swine flu pandemic, we've had, of course, the Spanish flu pandemic in 1918 that killed 50 million people. So it's always had the tendency or the ability to be able to become more virulent and be able to become more, you know, get people more sick, right? What has changed over time is our ability to be able to fight it because of our exposure to multiple different types of forms of the H and N, as we talk about. So if you multiply H by 45 and N by 95, that's how much different variants they could possibly have. So it's a lot. And what has happened is the flu vaccine that we have available now does not include the subclade K, which is one of the ones that's uprising right now. And that subclade K, which is an influenza A virus, has been making people very sick around the world, especially in the UK, the US. You've seen upticks happening in Trinidad as well. You'll hear people talking about how their grandmother or their young child got flu so badly and they had to be hospitalized. So those things are because of the virulent nature of the antigenicity and the antigenicity of the different viral proteins changing. Now, what is good about the vaccines that we have available is that they're variant, so they're inactivated or kill virus vaccines, but they use subunits. So what does that mean? Or split variants. They break it apart. And so it doesn't get you as sick as vaccines used to in the past. In the old days, we didn't know. We would grow them in eggs. We would grow them in and they would have chicken proteins and so on, and they would cause people to have allergic reactions. Sometimes we would have the whole viral units, and that gets people a lot sicker. So what we've done now, in addition to, of course, having all the RNA vaccines and stuff we have for all the different types of viruses that we have around the world, including COVID-A, and COVID-19 and the different versions of those COVID vaccines. We have different versions of the influenza vaccines. And the influenza vaccines are much better now at introducing what we call immunogenicity without reactogenicity. So you don't get those side effects that you used to get really badly in the early days of the flu vaccines.
Let me ask you, Doc, is there, for those who are still very much afraid of the joke, there are people who, when they see a needle, they go into panic mode, very scared. And there are others who will have their particular reasons for not wanting to go down the road of vaccination. Is there any organic way, any way within the context of nature that one could protect themselves and go into the season and beyond with that layer of protection?
Well, of course, the usual: masks, wash your hands, don't go around people who are sick. Eliminating that contact is really what it is. But I mean, in a case like a carnival fete or a party, you're not going to be able to do that. So the best way for you to protect yourself and your family, especially young children and older people who are, immunocompromised, is by vaccination. It's very effective. It's between 40 to 60%. As I always say, I do not work for the Ministry of Health, neither do I represent any of these vaccine companies. I do not make $1 from this public service. It's purely, in my nature to try to prevent disease and to push the science. The science is really what is happening. And what is happening around the world is this misinformation about vaccination. Look what's happening in the States. Measles has been on the rise. HPV has been on the rise for the first time in forever since we've had these vaccines. And we need to put a stop to it. Here in Trinidad and Tobago, we've always been very good at, and I always say that, kudos to the people here, because we have the knowledge, we have the experience, we've all been vaccinated. Everybody to be able to get into schools have to be vaccinated. Stay with your protocol, stay with your schedule, do not vary from it. See a pediatrician, see a family physician, and get the advice. The flu vaccines, our season is a little later. In the Western Hemisphere, they tend to push it October, November, December because of Carnival, because of Christmas, and because of travel. But ours kind of happens now.
What's in the vaccine, and could one get any allergic reaction from what's in the vaccine?
So I mentioned the egg. So this particular flu vaccine is grown in egg. And what does that mean? That means that they have to grow it in live cells. And the best way to be able to grow it and grow it fast is using the actual egg as an incubator. And now if you're allergic to eggs, if you're allergic to egg variant, chicken, anything to do with that family, poultry, you would avoid the vaccine, and you'd have to have your pediatrician or your family physician order one that's not egg-based, right? So there are other options. Generally, because of the high production value of producing it in eggs and the way that's the way it's always been done, a lot of these split variant vaccines that are available, Grip from Sanofi, and this other one, GC Biopharma, that's available here locally, are egg-based. But you can look up online, try to get some information, speak to your physician, and try to get ones that are not egg-based,
and how long,
specifically for the influenza-based vaccines.
And how long would the layer of protection last when you take the vaccine? Does one have to take it once a year or something?
Well, it's once a year because we don't know the circulation for that year. So what happens is we change. Remember I mentioned that you have a trivalent or a quadrivalent, right? So they put 3 or 4 different variants in the vaccine for the next year, but they have to predict couple years back, or a year back at least, and sometimes they miss. So this year they were trying to hit it with 2 A's and 2 B's, so 2 influenza A's and 2 influenza B's, but the subclade K took over. And now that is the most active variant. So that will probably be included maybe in next year's, in 26, 27. But for this year, you will get some protection, somewhere between 30 to 70%. Okay. And the immunogenicity and the antibodies that remain in your system will be there to protect you in following years, right? But it's recommended that every year that you get a flu vaccine.
This particular flu that's going around now, is it one of the brutal ones like in the years gone by that's putting people down?
Yes. So the influenza A subclade K is a very virulent and very, it makes young people very sick. Children, you find getting it, and of course elderly. So if you look at the hospitalizations and the deaths around the world, in the UK and the US and Europe and so on, you're seeing very high uptick in those groups, and those are the people who are usually more susceptible to flu. Of course, with the upcoming carnival season, and of course our children being back to school after Christmas vacation, you're going to see a lot of transfer. There are children who are writing SEA. My daughter is writing SEA. Kudos to all the kids who are trying their hardest right now to build up their immunogenicity and their immune systems. But you have to be aware that there are susceptible people in the environment. Do not go around your elderly parents, your elderly family members. If you're ill, wear a mask. If it is you're coming into schools, if you have to send your children to school or lessons because of this upcoming SEA and CSEC and all of this stuff, put a mask on.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Doc, because you don't find like we kind of gone back into a place of slackness where, people come into work, people sending their children to school, runny nose, people still sick. In your hand, people,
I think it's been a point.
We kind of went right back to prior to how we were in 2020.
I think it was worse than how it was before COVID, because it's like people are reacting against the need to have worn that mask. Like they're so bitter about it, and they feel that their rights have been violated without realizing that you are just doing your duty to humanity to protect the species. That's basically it. So if you eliminate disease by being vaccinated against HPV, MMR, all of the different things, you are doing your best to be able to promote lifespan in individuals who wouldn't otherwise, if it's not for yourself, for your children, and other people who would otherwise not have a chance. Like people keep telling me about natural, I'm not saying that certain things don't work, right? Lemon and, drinking lime and honey and all those things are antibacterial and they will all work. However, our lifespan 70 years ago was 30 years old. 36 years old, I think, was the maximum in some places. So you have to realize that we have been able to, over the last 50 years, introduce vaccinations to protect. The science is there to be able to protect us and protect the less people who are less able to fight disease in the environment, to be able to allow those individuals to have longer lifespans. Look what's happened now since the introduction of the HPV vaccine. Cervical cancer is almost something that you don't hear from in younger individuals and stuff like that who've been vaccinated. Yeah. MMR, mumps, measles, rubella, we don't have it. You really are only seeing it in pockets of places like the States and, Amish people and individuals like that. We've seen it in the past, but now you're seeing it all over the U.S. where anti-vaccination is a big thing, and they're pushing back against the vaccination. So I just want to say that, everybody needs to be responsible. Try to do what you can. Wear a mask, wash your hands. When you come home, before you pick up your baby, before you go and hug and kiss your old granny, wash your hands, change your clothes. Keep those things in play. Do the right and if you go into fat, stay hydrated and do all those things. But try to get vaccinated if you can. If you don't have an allergy to any of these things, try to get the normal vaccine. If you are, try to do some research and get the information. And you could always call us at Janek 77 Gene if it is that you I need more information and so on, and we can help you out.
Doc, as always, sincere thanks. Happy Carnival, Happy New Year, and we will touch base soon. All the best.
Of course. Take care, all the best. And don't forget, if you want to joke, take the chuck.
Yes, if you want to joke, take the chuck. I love it. Dr. Ramlachan, yes, I tell you. Yes, she's been here with us for so many years. And yes, she's very passionate, as you can see and hear. And yeah, it's good advice, give yourself that layer of protection going into the carnival season and beyond. Up next, we get you ready for the Limbo Competition 2026, President of the National Dance Association. She's supposed to join me, and later on, I believe we got Adrian Bass Hackshaw with some soca for 2026. See you soon.
Get the best back-to-school specials at Southern Food Baskets. Anchor cheddar and vegetarian cheese, 250 grams, 2 for $44.95. Golden brand margarine, 227 grams, 3 for $19.95. Wings, 1 kg, $29.95. Protect soap, 3-pack, $18.95. Colgate Great Regular Flavor, 4 ounces, 2 for $29.95. Soft and Pretty bathroom tissue, 12-pack for $18.95. Offers available while stocks last.
Trinidad and Tobago Carnival presents, for the very first time, at the Carnival Village, Queen's Park, Savannah, Port of Spain, Chutney Soca Monarch, the semi-final show. Friday, 30th January, showtime 7 p.m. 25 artists. RG the band, 1 stage, 1 night. Only 10 go to the final. Absolutely free to the public. Call 868-468-8728 or email southexevents@gmail.com. CSM 26.
As parents and teachers, we came together to establish the National Council of Parent-Teacher Association because we firmly believe that there is greater strength in unity. Today, our schools face real challenges: bullying, violence, and fear. No parent should send a child to school and wonder if they will be safe. No teacher should walk into a classroom afraid of losing control. That's why we welcome the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service into our schools. They bring expertise, they bring skill, and most importantly, they bring the reassurance that learning can happen in peace. We believe in unity. Now we are stronger. We are on board with the police.
The School-Oriented Policing Initiative, securing our schools, securing our future.
The fact that they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. So, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover.
I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name.
About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth.
On sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I read in Guardian since The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
Could the stories that are being covered are well detailed and they get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job and they're speaking the truth, and they're challenging the government to make things better.
Me in particular, of recently, the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities, and I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
Oh, The Guardian.
The Guardian?
Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian is my first choice.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
This season, Ask the Doctor is at a new time. It's your weekly prescription for trusted medical advice. In the Doctor's Capsule, Dr. Tilak Singh breaks down big health topics clearly and simply. Get a dose of smiles in the Kiddies Capsule as our youngest experts share health tips with heart. Explore the science behind the headlines in Medical Minds, featuring real doctors, real insight, and your questions matter. Join the open forum live and get answers straight from the source. Ask the Doctor, every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on CNC3. Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
Dance, dance. Everybody saying something, but you talking the loudest every time. I'm coming back. I only want to fetch with you. I'm looking on through the party. I hope I find you there. And when I hold on your body.
So we're going to transition into the Carnival Brew and just get into more light and feel good. I mean, every conversation is a feel good conversation, but we definitely want to get you in the mood. It's the national, hear this, a limbo competition, and it's back with a bang. The last time I heard it was years ago, many moons ago, we had a limbo competition. And to give us details, the president of the National Dance Association, no stranger to the program, Arlette Liz Williams. Arlette, you think we related? I'd never asked that question, you know.
I think I've asked you that question before, Jason. Okay, and we very well could be. Okay.
Was it cousins or something? You never know.
Oh yeah, we should find out.
Happy New Year and happy Carnival.
Same to you. Same to you.
You told me this competition was last featured in 2008.
Yes, 2008 was when it was last very vibrant. We had a lot of groups, a lot of people who were involved in the competition, and I came to be aware that Northwest Laventille Cultural Performers would have been the last group to win the National Limbo competition. So here we are, many years later, almost 2 decades if you count it.
Yes, true.
Trying to reinstate and revive the culture on a national stage, but in an incentivized manner.
Definitely. Yeah. So is it that the final is already in place? Or because this is final, so we would have had a prelims already?
So here's the thing about the Limbo competition. This is why it is important that we have this competition. It has been a fading art form for some time. It's a very unique skill that few people can do in Trinidad and Tobago. There aren't many benders, right? So we just consolidated the competition actually into this one event. So it's one stage, one night, one shot that the groups that are actually practicing limbo right now can come out and vie for $100,000 in cash prizes, right? That includes trophies, special prizes, and first, second, and third. And from what I understand right now, when we put out the call for submissions, so many people have been interested that we have schools that are now thinking that their students need to start learning limbo. We have communities that are reaching out and saying they don't have the benders, but they're definitely going to get themselves involved because this is a different stage.
I'm so happy Trinidad and Tobago has been described for many years as the land of pan, calypso, and limbo.
Yes.
And, you know, to know that the limbo was not really part of the mix. Yes, we would have seen it pop up here and there.
Yeah.
You know, cruise ship complex, you'll see tourists come, people limbo for the tourists.
How low can you go?
How low can you go? You know, they love it. But to see an actual platform to keep it alive. Let me ask you in terms of the time, place. I know it's not this weekend, it's the following weekend.
Correct.
Give me the exact time, place, and start location.
It's at the John Cupid Carnival Village, Queen's Park, Savannah, Port of Spain, 7 p.m. It's free of charge to the public, right? So we just want people to come out and support these groups. I can say offhand it's going to be a tight show because there are only so many groups that are performing. But we also have this little part of the competition where individuals can enter or decide to enter to be crowned the king and queen of limbo. So there's an added sort of zest to it, and we try to make it as accessible for companies as possible, companies and groups that are carrying it on. So all the information is online, ndatt.org/limbo, and groups and individuals can go on. I can say the deadline for any group that is remaining that thinks they want to take a shot, because first prize is 50,000, can go on, and they have up until Thursday evening at 6 p.m.
You heard it right here.
Right? Yeah. So we have registrations, but because it's next week and we're having one event, we put out an additional call again. It's really grapevine.
Of course. Well done, well done. And I'm happy it's back after a long hiatus. 2008, that's a long time. We're back with the Limbo finals.
So I just want to add that it's been in Best Village, right? And also the former president and presidents before her, Mrs. Melda Lynch Griffith, was also a strong advocate for trying to bring this to a space where it's a national competition. At that time, it was just as bad. There weren't as many groups to warrant a competition. But this time, we're pushing through, and we're sure next year we're going to have many more groups entering.
Alet, well said, well done. Let's put the information up as we take the pause and get ready for Bass, who's coming in next to perform. Could Bass limbo? I don't know. I doubt it. I can't. But,
I mean, one bar. Just try one bar.
Don't fray the fire. Big limbo finals on the 24th at the John Cupid Carnival Village. See you there.
I'm coming back. I only want to vet with you. I'm looking on through the party. I hope I find you there. Food basket. Food basket, nation's #1 supermarket. Bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. For everyday low price, things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale, retail, everything for you. A real much I wanna shop, go view. Food basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. Food basket, marketplace, go view, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right. Food basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. For everyday low price, things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale, retail, everything for you. A real much I wanna shop, go view. Food basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. Food basket, marketplace, Champlain, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
Celebrities are coming to play. It's Ice-T, the Diesel, Charles Barkley, Chris Paul, everybody, Golden State point guard, Grey's Anatomy team, we got them right now, so let's get it up. Name something you do if your neighbor spend every day doing nude yoga in his backyard.
Invite friends over to watch.
My own personal motto is to show citizens of this country that our stories can be told in a professional and international standard. I want to show them that the journalism they consume on cable TV can also exist here. Each day, that's my focus, that's my drive, to show the stories of our communities, of our people, matter just as much as anywhere else in the world. That's why we are where you are.
Parents will do it, they'll go to work, have a day, bro, and come on and take that stress out on you.
Welcome to another episode of Manhood.
Everybody will do
what they need to do to get what they want.
And if they can't fit in to the norms, then what do they do? They're surviving.
Not everybody wants to kill me because I might be all kind of thing, but I think I'm a good person.
The aspect of a mentor seeing something in you that you can't see in yourself.
Check yourself, because you shaped that generation.
Are we losing in many ways the values?
Since I have this Parkinson's diagnosis, there's a group, a very small type group, who will always look after me.
Blessing, blessing, blessing everyone. I am Apostle Dr. Benny King with my wife, Reverend Stella King, inviting you to join us every Wednesday at 5:30 a.m. and to 6 a.m. on CNC3, and expect a wonderful change experience as we pray for you and your family and your nation.
Yes, join us on Joy Prayer Network, because the Word of God says we should pray without ceasing. Pray without ceasing, because your miracle is just around the corner.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT.
This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Whether you're up and up or you need a lift, this is not for the sweat. And if you're working hard or you have a kid, this is not for the sweat.
Well, listen, I'm so happy to have my friend with me, Adrian Bass Hackshaw. We go back so many years. We just actually reminiscing on some of the good old days. But, you know, we in 2026. Happy Carnival, bro.
Still here, man.
Still here, no?
The race is not for the swift, you know.
Not for the swift at all.
Of course.
I mean, you're one of the inspirations for me. Many of the DJs now who do music, they fail to recognize that it's people like yourself, Chinese Laundry, was some of the very first men to break the mold. Even before you all, it had people like David Alcock,
But they weren't doing soca.
But they weren't doing soca.
Not contemporary music.
But in terms of soca, in terms of certain hit songs, and men saying, wait now, but we could do this, boy.
That's right. And that was the reason that getting into it to encourage the youths to do it, because before that, no youths were really, involved, wanted to get involved in the soca. Marsha Montano and again, the Panasonic Express was doing their thing. But to say youths really interested in soca, it wasn't there. And I used to do a show called Dancehall Good to We, which was a big explosive with the dancehall.
On a Saturday.
But really had to say, well, let me get the youths in this thing, man.
Now, well done, Bass, and you're still at it, man.
Yeah, man.
Big stuff in store for 2026. What it says is something with the Swift.
The race is not for the Swift. Remember, I saw you had a 5K.
Yes.
5K
Yes.
Encouraging people, motivating people. Something really different out there.
Well, Bass, I want to take it in, and then we come back and get some of the socials and all the booking information.
Yeah, man.
Not for the Swift.
Yeah.
Adrian Bass Hackshaw,
nice,
live.
Man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Remember, people.
Whether you're up and up or you need a lift, this is not for the sweat. And if you're working hard or you have a gift, this is not for the sweat. I tell you, times are rough when you feel the switch. This is not for the sweat. What you do for me? Evolve, elevator, make a shift. Tell yourself this, you could do it too. Whoa, you could do it too. Whoa, you could do it too. Cause nobody better than you. Listen, boy, I know you might be hard, no rest. You might be a little depressed. Sometimes ain't no redress. More no's than yes. And every time you take one step, it's like 2 steps backward. Let them know you're not covered. We come to push forward. Whether you're up and up or you need a lift, this is not for the sweat. And if you're working hard or you have a gift, this is not for the sweat. I tell you, times are rough and you feel the switch. This is not for the sweat. Just evolve, elevator, make a shift. Everybody sing for me, you could do it too. Whoa, you could do it too. Yeah, you could do it too. Cause nobody better than you. Whoa, I know you might be all by yourself. You and your God and nobody else. Sometimes not a call on the phone. No one to reach out is you alone. And every time you get up, it's like
make you fall down again. But through the struggle and pain, strong is this refrain. Whether you're up and up or you need a lift, the race is not for the swift. And if you're working hard or you have a gift, the race is not for the swift. I tell you, times are rough and you feel the switch. Just evolve, elevator, make a shift. Right now, on the brew, yeah, you could do it too. Oh, you could do it too. Oh, you could do it too. And nobody better than you. You could do it too. I know you could do it too. We know you could do it too. Pick up the brew with JW. Just pick up yourself, pick up yourself. Let them meet you by the finish line. Pick up yourself, pick up yourself. Let them know that you're here a long time. Pat yourself on the shoulder. Pick up yourself a little louder. Flowers and powers to you for all that you're going through. Whether you're up and up or you need a lift, race is not for the swift.
How we contacting you and keep it in touch, Base?
All right, Base man, 384-6699, 718-3723. We on TikTok, BASS Trinity TNT, Instagram, Base TNT 3000, man. Reach out.
What I love about this song, it reminds me of when Blacks did Hulk. It's almost like you're showing that soca could put a message.
Of course.
Positive message in the mix.
Yeah, man.
I love it, man.
I'm hoping to get through into the semi-finals in the Skinner Park, so you know. Yeah, we're in that too. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Base inspiration, brother.
Thank you, man. Beautiful.
Sincere thanks.
Thank you.
And this was actually our first, soca vibe because we had Sneaky last week.
Okay.
So there's a kind of crossover vibe.
So we graduate into the thing.
Yes. Well, with that, we make our exit. Have a great one, TNT. Godspeed. I'm back for more tomorrow. All the best.
I know it might be hard, no rest. You might be a little depressed. Sometimes ain't no redress. More knows than yes. And every time.
The Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
You're watching CNC3.